Marcus smirked as he threw his duffel bag into the trunk of his BMW. No marriage certificate, no property split, he said. You can't claim anything without proof. I stood there, keeping my face calm even though I was boiling inside. My name is Olivia Parker, and at 35, I was watching my husband of 8 years leave me for his 25-year-old girlfriend. A husband who had conveniently lost our marriage certificate 2 months ago during our home renovation. Don't worry about the house, Marcus added, checking his hair in a car mirror. You can stay here until I decide what to do with it. Consider it a gift. He even winked, like he was being generous. I crossed my arms, silently watching him. He expected me to cry, beg, or get angry. Instead, I said nothing. No reaction, he asked, sounding disappointed. Not going to fight for our marriage. I almost laughed. Fight for a man who was literally moving in with another woman. The same woman he had been secretly seeing for months. No, Marcus, I said calmly, your decision is clear. He frowned, clearly surprised. He thought he was in control, that he was too smart to be caught. He believed that without a marriage certificate, I had no legal claim to anything. But what he didn't know was that I had been paying attention. The late nights, the locked phone, the work dinners that never showed up on his expense reports, I had seen it all. After all, I had worked in criminal investigations for years. This would be easier if you just accepted that things change, Marcus continued. Sophia understands me in ways you never could. I smiled slightly. Sophia, the young paralegal who somehow lived in a luxury apartment. The same woman who had been asking a lot of questions about our property at the office Christmas party. I'm sure she does, I replied. Something in my tone made Marcus pause. What do you mean by that? I shrugged. Just wishing you well. That's what divorcing couples do, right? He narrowed his eyes. We're not divorcing. No marriage certificate, no divorce. And even if you found a copy, everything's in my name. You have nothing. I thought about the call I made last week, about the documents stored in my office. Marcus thought he had covered his tracks. But he had underestimated me. You're right, I said softly. I guess I have nothing to lose. His confidence wavered for the first time. What are you planning? Planning? I echoed. Nothing at all. Just watching my husband leave for his girlfriend. He got into his car, trying to act like he wasn't nervous. Don't do anything stupid, Olivia. You can't win against me in court. I'm a lawyer. Oh, I remember, I said with a small smile. Say hi to Sophia for me. As he drove away, I pulled out my phone and called a number I knew by heart. Detective Parker's office answered a familiar voice. Hey, Jim, I said, watching Marcus disappear down the street. Remember that favor you owe me? I need to check some records. Jim chuckled. This about Marcus? Let's just say I need to verify some paperwork. About time, Jim said. Come by tomorrow, and Olivia, bring your laptop. You'll want to see this. I ended the call and looked up at the house Marcus thought he could take from me. He had always underestimated me. He forgot that before I was his wife, I was a forensic investigator, specializing in financial crimes. Tomorrow was going to be very interesting. The next morning, I walked into Jim's office carrying my laptop and 8 years' worth of carefully documented evidence. The familiar smell of coffee and old case files brought back memories of my days working in this department. Still keeping that door hinge squeaky for dramatic effect? I asked, settling into the chair across from his desk. Jim grinned, pushing a cup of coffee toward me. Some things never change. Speaking of change, I pulled those records you asked about. He turned his monitor toward me. Your husband's been busy. I leaned forward, scanning the document on his screen. It was a digital copy of our marriage certificate filed with the county clerk's office 8 years ago. Next to it was a series of access logs showing repeated attempts to alter the digital records over the past 3 months. He tried to hack the county database. I couldn't help but laugh. Marcus always thought he was smarter than everyone else. Not just tried, Jim said, clicking through more logs. He paid someone to do it, left a pretty clear trail too. Amateur hour stuff. He paused, studying my face. You knew this was coming, didn't you? I opened my laptop, pulling up folders of meticulously organized files. Let's just say I learned a thing or two about documentation during our marriage. Each folder contained years of financial records, property deeds, text messages, and emails. I'd started backing everything up the day Marcus began working late with his new paralegal. Look at this, I said, showing Jim a particular email thread. 3 months ago, Sophia started asking about property transfers and marriage nullification. Marcus thought he was being clever using her private email, but he forgot I used to track digital forensics for a living. Jim whistled low as he scrolled through the evidence. He's not just trying to hide your marriage. He's been moving assets around, setting up shell companies. His eyes narrowed at a particular document. Is that the deed to your Vermont cabin? The one he claims is only in his name. I smiled. Check the original filing date. Jim's eyebrows shot up as he read. You bought it before the marriage, with your own money. From my 5 years of savings as an investigator, I confirmed. Marcus just assumed it was his because he's used to taking credit for everything. We spent the next hour going through the documentation. Every attempt Marcus had made to hide our marriage or shield assets had left a digital footprint. His mistake wasn't just in underestimating me. It was in forgetting what I did before I met him. One more thing, Jim said, pulling out a thick folder. Remember that fraud case you helped crack back in 15? The one with the falsified property records? I nodded, the pieces clicking into place. The Henderson case. The one where we proved digital tampering with county records. Exactly, and guess who just hired the same tech guy Henderson used? Jim pushed a surveillance photo across the desk. It showed Marcus meeting with a man I recognized from the old case files. Oh, Marcus, I sighed, shaking my head. You really should have Googled your hacker better. Just then, my phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. Stopped by the house. Where are you? We need to talk about the property situation. I showed the message to Jim, who chuckled. Guess he's figured out he can't access the home security system anymore. Amazing what changing a few passwords can do, I replied, gathering my files. Think we have enough here? Jim nodded, his expression serious. More than enough. Want me to make some calls? I know a few judges who'd be very interested in this attempted records tampering. Not yet, I said, standing up. First, I want to give Marcus one chance to do the right thing. Not because he deserves it, but because I want him to know exactly what he's up against. Always the strategist, Jim smiled. Given hell, Olivia. As I drove home, I thought about Marcus's face when he realized his clever plan wasn't so clever after all. He'd spent months orchestrating what he thought was the perfect escape. Hiding our marriage certificate, moving assets, setting up his new life with Sophia. All while assuming I was too trusting, too naive to notice. My phone buzzed again. Olivia, where are you? This is important. Call me. I pulled into our driveway, noticing Marcus's BMW parked on the street. He was sitting on the front steps, his usually perfect hair slightly disheveled. His confidence replaced by obvious agitation. Where have you been? He demanded, standing up as I approached. I've been trying to reach you all morning. I walked past him to unlock the door, my evidence files tucked safely in my bag. Sorry, I was at a meeting. About our marriage certificate, actually. He followed me inside, his footsteps faltering slightly. What do you mean, a meeting? I turned to face him, enjoying the flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. You know, Marcus, for a lawyer, you really should be more careful about who you hire to hack government databases. The color drained from his face. For the first time since this all began, Marcus looked genuinely afraid. What exactly are you implying? Marcus asked, trying to regain his composure as we stood in our living room. His lawyer mask was slipping back into place, but I could see the panic in his eyes. I'm not implying anything, I replied calmly, setting my bag on the coffee table. I'm telling you that I have proof of your attempts to tamper with county records, hide assets, and fraudulently invalidate our marriage. Would you like to see the evidence? He sank into the armchair, his confidence crumbling. How did you? No. I finished for him. Marcus, did you forget what I did before we met? Financial crimes investigation isn't just a job title. It's a skill set. I pulled out my laptop and began opening files. Let's start with the cabin in Vermont. The one you claimed was yours? I bought it before we married. Here's the deed, the bank transfers, and my old pay stubs proving the source of funds. That's not, he started, but I cut him off. Then there's the matter of our marriage certificate. Did you really think hiring the same hacker from the Henderson case was smart? The case I helped prosecute. I turned the screen toward him, showing the access logs. Every attempt to alter those records is documented. Every email between you and Sophia about property transfers tracked. Marcus stood up abruptly, pacing the room. This is ridiculous. You're trying to intimidate me. Sophia's father is a judge. He'll never let. Judge Harrison. I smiled. The one who presided over the Henderson case? I'm sure he'd be very interested to know his daughter is involved in similar activities. That stopped him cold. You wouldn't. Try me. I closed my laptop. Here's what's going to happen, Marcus. You have two choices. First option, we handle this fairly. A clean divorce, equal property division, no games. I'll even let you keep the BMW you love so much. He swallowed hard. And the second option, I take everything I've found to the State Bar Association, the district attorney, and every judge in the circuit. Your law license, your reputation, your freedom, all gone. And Sophia? She'll be facing charges too. You're bluffing, he said, but his voice wavered. I pulled out my phone and dialed Jim's number, putting it on speaker. Hey Jim, we ready to move forward with those charges? Just say the word, Olivia. Jim's voice crackled through the speaker. The DA's been briefed, and Judge Harrison is particularly interested in the evidence involving his daughter. Marcus collapsed back into the chair, his face ashen. Turn it off. I ended the call, watching him process his complete loss of control. The man who thought he could outsmart everyone was finally realizing he'd been outplayed. Why? He asked quietly. Why not just turn me in? Because despite everything, I love you once, I replied honestly. And because I'd rather move forward than waste time on revenge. But make no mistake, if you try to fight this, I won't hesitate to use everything I have. He was quiet for a long moment, staring at his hands. Finally, he looked up, and I saw something I'd never seen before in his eyes. Respect. The prenup, he said. It's still valid. Even split, right? I nodded. That's all I ever wanted, Marcus. A fair ending. The next few weeks passed in a blur of paperwork and negotiations. True to his word, once broken, Marcus handled the divorce fairly. The marriage certificate mysteriously reappeared in our files, and all attempts to alter county records ceased. Sophia, faced with the prospect of charges and her father's disappointment, quickly distanced herself from the situation. Last I heard, she transferred to a firm in another state. As I stood in the cabin that autumn, watching leaves fall over the lake, I felt nothing but peace. Sometimes winning isn't about destroying your opponent. It's about being prepared, staying calm, and knowing when to show your hand. Jim called to check on me occasionally. You could have taken him for everything, he said during one call. Why didn't you? Because this way, I won something more valuable than property, I replied, sipping my coffee on the cabin's porch. I won my freedom, my dignity, and the knowledge that I never had to compromise who I am. The lake stretched out before me, calm and clear, reflecting the mountains like a mirror. Marcus had always underestimated this place, seeing it as just another asset. He never understood that its real value lay in the peace it offered, the strength it represented. I smiled, thinking about how differently things had turned out from what Marcus planned. He thought he was dealing with a knave wife he could easily deceive. Instead, he learned a valuable lesson. Never underestimate a woman who knows her worth and keeps receipts. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply showing someone exactly who you've been all along.